objectives. I think that you've laid them out on many occasions. Not long ago, you spoke with the editorial board of the Tennessean, and on numerous occasions, you've appeared in various media articles and whatnot, talking about some of your goals and objectives. Let's look at some of those things that you feel are important, and some of the things that you feel can be achieved during your administration here at as the president of Tennessee State University.
Well, I guess my goals and objectives center around three elements: image building, fundraising, and recruitment. If we look at recruitment, I believe in recruiting from the top down. At the same time, I believe that we can be egalitarian and at the same time practice excellence. So I do not believe that there's a contradiction between excellence and egalitarianism. With respect to image building, TSU is better than a lot of people perceive. And what we shall do is get the word out about how good we actually are. We are talking about a renovation and construction project of $112 million, unprecedented in this country for one campus to receive such funding. And when it's done, we will have several new buildings. We will have a pedestrian campus. You'll find that the lighting will be outstanding. You will find flowers and trees and lamps and things of that sort. You will also find a safe campus, one in which students will be stimulated to learn, and teachers to teach, and administrators to treat students as they ought to be treated, that they matter most. And so it's that image that I want to get out there of how good the institution is. And I've talked to a number of organizations thus far, the Rotary. I've talked to a number of minority organizations to really point out how good we actually are. Then, of course, there's fundraising. As you well know, when I was president of Jackson State, I asked Walter Payton, a graduate of the university, to chair my fundraising campaign. Well, Walter did, and also Lem Barney, both outstanding pro football players. We raised $11.2 million in 4 years. But it was something most interesting, and that is our alumni. Our alumni gave me $1.5 million in 4 years. I asked them to give it to me in 5. I started a campaign in '84 of November when I was inaugurated. And it was supposed to go 5 years to raise $10 million. But I visited a lot of cities. I talked to a lot of alumni. I talked to a lot of corporations and foundations. And in 4 years, not 5, we raised $11.2 million. Walter Payton and Lem Barney, they were very, very important here. Of that $11.2 million, we were able to establish over 20 endowed scholarships. We established some endowed chairs, some endowed professorships, and we also had money for faculty development. Well, I want to do the same with respect to Tennessee State. In the very near future, we will announce a $25 million fundraising effort. And I'm going to talk to some very important graduates of the institution and see if they will head the campaign. I hope to get at least 25 endowed scholarships out of that campaign. I want at least 5 endowed professorships, 5 endowed chairs. I want money for faculty development. It's important for me, as soon as possible, for TSU to establish a chair of excellence. We have too many outstanding faculty members not to have a chair of excellence.
Why don't you explain, Doctor, what the chair of excellence is? I think that while we in higher education might understand what we're talking about, a large number of people might not have any idea about the chair of excellence. As a matter of fact, you were a recipient of a chair of excellence in your earlier research days. So why don't you talk about that and put that within some framework? So, because I understand that this is a very, very expensive proposition, and in order to get the money that you need in order to establish a chair, you have to at least make a large number of contacts. So why don't you give us as much information as you can about that?
Well, if you are a scholar, what you really want is an endowed chair. It is a culmination of all the hard work that you put into writing and into reading papers and things of that sort. I was fortunate because I was given an endowed chair by Morehouse College at an early age. It was a $500,000 chair. And I recall that when I used to write articles at the dining room table and try to write books and things of that sort, a lot of people did not see the importance of that. But if you say to yourself that knowledge is not only a consumption good, it's also an investment good, then a scholar believes in knowledge as both a consumption and an investment good. And the culmination of his life is to get a chair of $500,000 or $1 million so that he can continue his work in promoting knowledge. The world of ideas is a most interesting world. It's one in which it stimulates the mind. It creates a gleam in your eyes. And so for me, that Charles E. Merrill professorship was just very, very good. I would like, for example, to bring in some outstanding scholars and people we have already on campus and provide them with a chair so they can continue their work. So they can be an inspiration to young people who wish to pursue the PhD. And incidentally, the PhD means love of knowledge. And so we want to create those, and the chair will do that. It will provide a stimulus, a catalyst for people to really get down and to pursue that doctorate. Well, we're looking at a $1.2 million chair of excellence at the university. If we want to start with that, we need to match that at 50%. Then the state will provide the rest, and we'll have a $1.2 million chair. That's a very good chair. I would like to originally start off with 2, and eventually, as the campaign continues, we'll get up to 5 or 6 or whatever. But I think we want to go originally with 5, to bring in 5 scholars for our students to be exposed to. It will be a marvelous thing, and that's what I wish to do at TSU.
Very good. Another thing